to defend their title. It should be interesting to see what happens. The referee ready to get underway, Eddie, and we are underway.
Fantastic. It'll be a tense first 5-10 minutes to see if both teams settle in, but Clearwater Catholic takes it to them.
Here's Kenny Jewell now, coming in at the top of the knee. He's in all alone. Jewell working the ball through, and already a close call, Eddie. Right off the bat, we have action here.
Testing the confidence already, and that's the way to get off to a good start.
That's exactly what the Clearwater Central Catholic Marauders needed, as Eddie mentioned, because they are a little bit nervous coming into this game. There's a lot of talk as to whether or not Tarpon Springs can upset this Clearwater Central Catholic team. They'll be trying to work their hardest to see if they can pull off a victory here tonight. That's Paul with the ball. Paul trying to work the ball through, loses control, and we have a free kick coming up for Tarpon Springs, Eddie.
Important situation, set play. If they practice this well, maybe they can get something going.
Here's Tom Gamble stepping up to take it now for Tarpon Springs. Tarpon Springs, of course, looking for the upset here, as I mentioned, and a man that they'll have to rely on a lot tonight is, of course, Gamble. Gamble now with the shot, and it is wide. Billy Twait lets it go wide, claps his hands, and, of course, Eddie, players a little bit nervous coming into this game.
Absolutely. It will take them 5 or 10 minutes to settle into the rhythm, but there's nothing wrong with taking a shot early on just to even it out.
Okay, so already 2 shots, one by Gamble off a free kick, and Kenny Jewell breaking it. That's Bill Twait right there, and, of course, Billy, a very highly recruited goaltender across the United States. Some great skills in that young man, and that's one thing that we have on this field here tonight, a lot of skill. The ball out the midfield now. Kenny Jewell heading it across to Sean Callahan, loses it there now. The Spongers regain control. Ball played wide to the right-hand side, looking for Paul, and the ball goes a little bit too far. Throwing coming up for Central Catholic.
There's no doubt about it. This Clearwater Central Catholic is loaded, but Tarpon Springs certainly have some offensive threats himself and an outstanding keeper from what I understand.
They certainly have, Eddie, and of course he has not been scored on too much so far this year. Of course, at the other end, Clearwater Central Catholic has played a lot more games, so there's the talk about that. Here's Jeff Jones now, the left footer, still in control, looking for Hernandez. Lobs the ball in the center, looking for Kenny Jewell. Here's Chris Bennett, and the ball's gone too far. It is corner kick for the Clearwater Central Catholic Marauders, Eddie.
Corner kick here, Central Catholic. It'll be interesting to see if they bring up some of their tall men. I'm sure they will.
Making some changes right now. Of course, Sean Callahan over to get it. It'll be interesting to watch the Marauders right here because they run a lot of set plays. Look for Ed Kelly. Here's the cross now. Here's the corner, and it goes right past the goal mouth. Good job by the goaltender getting a hand on it, Ed.
It was a bit of an in-swinger there. The goalkeeper touched it out of bounds easy. And here they go again. Second corner kick in a row.
This time it'll be Hernandez coming over to take it for the Marauders. Jeff Jones standing at the near post. Hernandez, number 12 on your screen, has his knee taped tonight. That right knee has been bothering him. Here's the cross now low and deflected out by the defense. Good defensive play and finally knocked into touch. So Clearwater Central Catholic keeping the ball at Tarpon's end for the first few minutes here, Ed.
Now it's a spirited game, and if Tarpon Springs can shut down the offense of Clearwater Catholic, they may have some possibilities going for them.
Here's Byron Triplett. He's taken down. Free kick coming up here for the Clearwater side. Tarpon Springs retreating a little bit now, trying to get set here. Of course, they're a little bit nervous. They know they are facing the mighty Marauders. To Jeff Jones out on the left wing. Jones watched there by Thanopoulos. The ball goes too far into touch. Throwing coming up for the Tarpon Springs side.
It's very important from a psychological standpoint that Tarpon Springs maintain some poise because they're going to have to withstand a lot of pressure in this first half. And it's happened before, but if they can just handle 15, 20 minutes of pressure and get into their rhythm, the game should even out.
As I mentioned, a big crowd here tonight. It is the first time that I have ever seen the other stands, the visitor side, full of people, and of course there are people wall to wall here on the home side. Meanwhile, Ed Kelly there at the midfield battling for it, and there's Tom Markin. Tom stepping forward and drilling that ball down the left-hand side to Jeff Jones. Jones now working his way around the corner, crosses it in the center. Here's Hernandez, and a good defensive play that time, getting that ball out, of course, was Earl Thomas.
That was a beautiful ball by Jeff Jones. Unfortunately, there wasn't anybody from Clearwater Central Catholic running onto it. That's one of the most dangerous plays in soccer, taking it to the line and cutting it back.
Free kick coming up here, and of course, Hernandez and Callahan over there discussing it. Hernandez on the left. Callahan takes the kick, lobs it inside, looking for Jewell. Headed away by Thanopoulos, finally cleared out. And of course, Tim Paul there to help out. Here's Paul, the other Paul brother now, trying to work it through. Over to Gamble. He loses control. The ball goes into touch. Throwing coming up now for Tarpon Springs. Players coming out very fast here in this first half. Long throw and now trying to work it through. And Foul call. The linesman raising his flag that time, Eddie.
Yeah, infractions could play a critical part of this game, particularly when emotions are running so high. You certainly don't want to give away unnecessary free kicks or receive any unnecessary yellow cards.
Mike Hanlon along with Eddie Austin bringing you the action from Clearwater Central Catholic High School. We're just underway. This is the semifinals of the State 3A division. Clearwater Central Catholic in the white, Tarpon Springs in the maroon. And here's Tarpon with a free kick. The long ball looking for Gamble. Eddie Kelly is there. He clears it away. Here's Paul trying to get a foot on it. And finally, Byron Triplett clears it away. Boy, you can really feel emotion flowing right there. The crowd gave a big ooh.
And I'll tell you what, anytime that ball drops into the penalty area like that, anything can happen. And Tarpon Spring comes up with a very, very important corner kick.
Tarpon now getting set. And, of course, the referee having a word with one of Tarpon's players at this time. Nick Samarcos, number 15, goes back towards the line. Bill Twait is there. Here's the corner. It's a long one. Twait is up, and he makes the save. Quickly distributes out to Thomas Markham. Markham now to Kenny Jewell. Jewell, good pass right back to Markham. Here's a long ball looking for Hernandez. Hernandez in all alone. Cutting in. Here's the shot. Oh, and a great save. Here's Jewell with the rebound and shot. And it's just by, cleared away. Eddie, a close call that time.
There's some beautiful soccer. 2 touches out of the Clearwater Catholic defense, and it finds Hernandez one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Hernandez did outstanding in getting a shot off, but what a superstar play by the Tarpon keeper.
Boy, you wanted excitement, and you are certainly getting it here. These are the top 2 teams in this division, Clearwater Central Catholic and Tarpon Springs, and they are definitely going head-to-head here. Here's Tom Gamble now breaking back. P.J. Donahue plays it back to Bill Twait, and Twait says, let's slow things down. But, of course, there is already a whistle blown on the play. Free kick coming up for Clearwater Central Catholic.
That was some outstanding soccer. You know, when you can get the traverse the distance of the field on 2 passes, that is playing some great stuff.
Of course, a great ball by Thomas Markham, working that 1-2 touch that time with Jewell. And here's a long ball down the right-hand side. Hernandez falls down, gets right back up, and it's cleared away very nicely that time by Holly. Holly realized that he was the only man back hitting, and he said, let's regroup, and simply knocked it into touch.
Tarpon really has to contend with Hernandez. He's got jets.
Throwing coming up now for Clearwater Central Catholic. Tom Markham, number 4, over to take it. That's Kelly standing here. No score. We're just underway. From Clearwater Central Catholic live on Vision Cable, you're watching the semifinals of the 3A boys soccer division. Another throw in here for the Marauders. Thomas Markham again with a long throw and looking for Callahan. Callahan right across the middle, and had that same type of ball, only this time coming off a throw-in. Here's a long ball now, trying to work it down the right-hand side, looking for Samarcos, and it comes all the way back to Billy Twait off the foot of P.J. Donahue.
This is what Tarpon has to be careful of. They got a breakaway situation there, and their chief goal scorer, their main goal scorer, is sitting back in midfield. He can't be so concerned about defending. They got to push Gamble up if they're going to have any opportunities. He's their leading goal scorer.
Of course, Gamble, number 10 on the field for the Spongers. Free kick coming up here for Clearwater Central Catholic again. Sean Callahan. Of course, Tom Nibio now shouting instructions off on the side. Sean Callahan now talking out with Ed Kelly. Callahan, number 10. Of course, behind him is Triplett and P.J. Downey. Here's the ball looking for Kelly. Kelly diving for it, can't get to it, and it's cleared away very nicely there by Mike Cliff. Back to P.J. Donahue now. P.J. still in control, trying to work it through, looking for Kenny Jewell. Has it broken up. Ball comes out on the left wing now. They bring it across the midfield stripe. Here's P.J. coming all the way back. Knocks the ball into touch, and a good hustle that time by P.J.
Beautiful defense by Donahue.
Throwing coming up now. Reisner preparing to put it in play. Referee asking him to hold up. Substitution coming on already. And, of course, that is number 16, Rick Martin, coming on. And coming off number 15, Nick Samarcos. So already a substitution. Apparently he just hurt his hip for a second there, Eddie. They're going to take him off, make sure he's okay. Meanwhile, here's Reisner now with another chance. Tarpon Springs lining everyone up just outside the small box, inside the top of the D. Here's the cross inside. Ed Kelly heads it away. There's Markham, and Jones clears it out. Jones anxious to get that ball out of the penalty area. And now it comes back to the outside. Here's a good move now as they try and work it through with Thomas, and a foul on that play, Eddie.
It's obvious Tarpon's playing a little defensive-minded here. They just had a beautiful free kick situation. They only had 2 players up on the forward line. They got to push up. They got to take the game to Clearwater Catholic. Holly
now playing that ball in the center. There's lots of white shirts there. Here's Gamble now with a good chest trap and trying to turn around. And now a foul call by the referee. Free kick coming up, and very close this time for Tarpon Springs. They've had 4 or 5 good chances already, Eddie.
Yeah, and here's the man, Gamble. He's got a shot, and I'm sure he's going to take a crack at it.
The Marauders quickly form a wall. Byron at the near post, then steps off. Reasoner pushes it off. Here's Gamble's shot across the square. Oh, and right by the foot of Rick Martin. Close call that time, Eddie.
That's what you call a broken set play, but it nearly ended up a goal there. That situation, the ball skidded across the right-hand side, but somebody was sleeping on the part of Tarpon to put the ball in the net.
Number 16, Rick Martin, looking for the set play. Never turned back to see if the ball was there, and there's a sloppy play right there. Trying to work that ball through to get it back to Bill Twait, so Bill could have it in his hands, and Markham almost gives it right back to Martin. Bill now taking his time, steps to the outside, punts the ball out towards the midfield line. Reasoner is there. There's Chris Bennett. Callahan comes up, plays a nice one to Jones, and of course, it looks like the Marauders' passing is on tonight because they have made some great ones. Here's a long ball now by Daly, looking for Kenny Jewell. Jewell putting his hand on the shirt of number 9, Boswell, but no call there.
Both teams are blessed by having outstanding goalkeepers, and that could mean the difference in this game.
It could come down to mistakes, as one person said. The team that makes the mistake could lose 1-0. That's how good these two teams are. Here's the ball now with Daly. Daly wearing number 2, plays it in the middle for Kenny Jewell. Jewell, oh, a great dummy ball right there, looking for Bennett. Even faked out his own teammate. Bennett regains control, comes back to the midfield now. Thomas Markham pushes it back. Ed Kelly is there. Kelly quickly plays it back to Bill Twait, and Twait scoops it up. Just 10 minutes in, and it seems as if these two teams have been running full speed since the start, Eddie.
Now, spirited game. You got to give both teams credit. They're not sitting back anymore. They're taking it to the opponent.
Bill Twait now giving instruction to Byron Triplett. Steps to the side of Gamble and punts it across the midfield line. A strong one. Very little wind here tonight. The flag standing still at this moment. Here's Reasoner now. Still in control. No dangerous kick call right there. Bennett still has it. There's Jewell trying to bend it in for Hernandez. Hernandez waits for the ball. Now Callahan loses it, comes back. Here's Paul. Paul pushing it off on the right-hand side, looking for Martin. It comes all the way back to P.J. Donahue, and P.J. elects to keep it himself. P.J. now at the top of his own D. Plays it towards the midfield, looking for Jewell. It's knocked off by Gamble. Markham picks it up. Markham down the right-hand side for Bennett. Here's Chris Bennett now, still in control, about 40 yards out. Coming in now, pushing it towards the middle. Bends to the outside. There's a good move. Looking to cross it in, and Reasoner takes it away. Reasoner still in control, knocks it into touch. Some good skills right there, Eddie.
Good defense on the part of the Tarpon Spring defender there.
Throwing coming up. Thomas Markham is down to take it for the Marauders. Looking on, trying to get something going. Here's the toss inside. Looking for Hernandez. Hernandez has it. The ball's loose out. Reasoner traps it, tries to clear it away, gets it by Bennett. Comes out to the midfield. Here's Martin now. Martin and P.J. Donahue, a 3-on-1 if they hurry. He's onside, off on the left-hand side for Gamble. Gamble's still in control. It's P.J. Donahue and Gamble. Gamble has it now, and Ed Kelly comes over and clears it away. So they had a 3-on-1 there, Eddie, and of course the Marauders hustle back and cover up just in time.
No, that's good defense when you can cover for your teammate who's beaten, because Gamble was in that penalty area and he was in a dangerous situation. Great defense by Clearwater.
Of course, the trouble is not over by any means as the throw-in is coming up, and of course these Tarpon Spring Sponges would like to get that early lead, that early goal. They're looking for that opportunity chance, that opportunity goal, I should say. Here's the long ball inside. PJ heads it right back out, and Donahue just electing to get out of trouble at that point, Eddie.
And in a throw-in like this, he's got a long throw-in. It's a dangerous situation as long as he keeps it away from the keeper.
Here's a long throw-in. Twait now trying to get to it, gets a hand on it, and a whistle was blown on that time. Running into the goaltender, not going to be allowed here.
Twait's a very strong goalkeeper, and anything in his area he's going to take. They got to keep the ball away from him.
Off to the left-hand side for Byron Triplett to Sean Callahan. Callahan with 17 goals this season. Of course, the captain of the Marauders along with Byron Triplett. Those two work hand in hand together. Here's Jeff Jones now. And a free kick coming up for the Marauders here. Callahan to take it just on his half of the field. Plays it off to Byron Triplett. That quick pass. Byron now using his speed, cutting through the middle. That 4-4 speed of his. Still in control. Plays it. Here's a shot, and it's just wide. Good shot that time. He caught everyone looking. And the ball just did skip wide, Ed.
Nice try, unexpected. That kid has some quick feet there, and that's the way you got to go. You get in that box, you got to take a shot.
No doubt the fastest man on the field here tonight. Of course, the Marauders, if many people are saying if they had to point to one thing, Ed, it would be the speed, because with people like Hernandez, Jones, Markham, and of course Byron Triplett, they do have the advantage in that category.
I was just going to say, Mike, they are also tremendously well balanced. A lot of depth. They're strong in every position, which is unusual for any high school team I've ever seen.
There's a good chance for Martin now. Thomas Martin comes over, plays it back, and gets a warning from the referee. Meanwhile, Bill Twait picks it up. And while we have a chance, I'd like to tell you who those men are tonight. Of course, the referee is coming over from Tampa because both of these teams are from this area. Of course, Bob Feeney, Jack Holland, and Jim Vars. Feeney in the middle. Daly now playing it ahead for Jones. Jones fighting his way through. There's a dangerous play right there, but it's cleared away, fortunately for the Marauders, for Tarpon Springs by Thomas. The ball goes into touch. Throw-in coming up for the Spongers. Paul puts it in play very quickly, and a bad throw-in, asking him to move back. He must throw it in before the point rather than go back and try and move it forward. Here's Callahan now, trying to work it through. Good play by Jones. Jones with a nice pass looking for Daly on the left-hand side. Holly comes over very quickly and plays it back to his goaltender. So Tarpon Springs content with the safe play on that one, Eddie.
Yeah, Tarpon Springs starting to come into their own a little bit now. They've withstand a tremendous amount of pressure so far, and they might start to get into their own rhythm now.
Speaking of pressure, Tom Nibio just on your screen right there. Interesting to see what happens with the Marauders here tonight, because if they win, they will try and go on and win their second ever, or rather second in a row, state title. Here's a ball at Gamble. Markham takes it away. Thomas still down on his feet, gets up, fighting for his life, and there's a great slide tackle and a foul coming up here. They're going to call it against Markham. Timeout is called. The clock will stop, and immediately Clearwater Central Catholic is over there. All the players coming over to see if Thomas is okay. There's a good shot of him right there on the screen, obviously in pain.
Some spirited play by Tom Markin. That's a second effort man, and that's an unusual characteristic and quality to find in a young player. He's having an outstanding game also.
So he's up, and apparently he's going to be okay. Free kick coming up here for Tarpon Springs, Eddie. It looks as if this time...
It's a throw-in here, Mike.
Throw-in? Yeah. Sorry, excuse me, throw-in. Markham right back into the action as he clears that one away, but right in front of Gamble. Here's a shot by Markham. And Bill Twait out quickly to push that ball away. Just simply getting a fist to it, Eddie, punching it out.
And referee Bob Finney calls an offside play on Tarpon.
Of course, it seems as if Clearwater Central Catholic are content with using the offside trap on that play, Eddie. Of course, with the score here, 0-0. And we're coming to you from Clearwater Central Catholic High School live. Tarpon Springs and Clearwater Central Catholic. Here's Chris Bennett now. Bennett with that long ball in the middle, trying to work it through. Jones letting to see if both players would go with it. And Holly comes up with it for Tarpon Springs. Out to Paul. Paul playing it back towards the middle now. Here's a long boot up the field, trying to work it through. Looking for Gamble. Gamble all over the field tonight for Tarpon Springs. Bit of a handball there. And the referee catches it. There's a good look at the other coach for Tarpon Springs. And, of course, Jed Lair trying to lead his team into the finals, where they will face the winner of today's 2 p.m. game, which was Bishop Curley. Vision Cable will bring you that game live tomorrow night at 7:30 with the pregame show, and live at 8 o'clock again to bring you the final game. Of course, we're live to you right now, and you are watching Clearwater Central Catholic against Tarpon Springs. Eddie Austin and myself, no score. Time winding down here in this first half. Free kick coming up now. Byron over there, they're making some adjustments. Tom Nibio on the sidelines trying to make some decisions. Here's the throw-in now coming up. There you see the correction on your screen. P.J. Donahue pushing it through. Here's P.J. with a shot, and saved by the goaltender. Long punt down the field. Clearwater Central Catholic falling into that offside trap, Eddie.
Yeah, they sure did. Tarpon Springs playing some good defense tonight.
They certainly are, holding off Clearwater Central Catholic. Free kick coming up here, going Clearwater's way. And of course, they're happy to see that.
For forward, I think Tom Gamble has more infractions called on him than any other player on the field tonight. He's just
definitely
a big,
aggressive.
strong kid, isn't he?
Definitely aggressive. Of course, that's the way he's been all throughout the year, and he'd like to stick with that. He's been successful. They've had a winning season. They're all the way here in the semifinals. They're not going to change anything right now. They're satisfied. And, of course, for both of these teams, it's been outstanding seasons. Ball played down on the right-hand side. Trying to work it through, looking for Paul. Byron Triplett has it there now. Byron taking his time, plays it back to Billy Twait. Twait in control. Twait still in control. Midway through the first half here. Ball out in the midfield now. Callahan going for it. Back towards the middle. Boswell playing it back for P.J. Donahue. And Bill Twait gets control. It seems as if things have slowed down a little bit now, Eddie.
They have. Tarpon Springs blocking that defensive area there. Clearwater Catholic, they have to get a little bit wider, get their wingers penetrating. There's a foul against Tarpon from behind.
Here's Hernandez now trying to get control. And it was talked about all week long that these two teams might try and get physical, Eddie. And by that I mean marking up the smaller players, because Clearwater Central Catholic smaller men are the men up front for them. And of course, Hernandez, Jones, and Kenny Jewell.
Tarpon's playing them extremely aggressive. And
this is a set play right here. I hate to interrupt you, Eddie, but watch this right here. Look on the right-hand side for Bennett, and they'll try and work this. They've been successful with this all year long. They come to the ball, then suddenly they go away. They're trying to get the play set.
Well, they've only got one man in the penalty box, so they're going to shoot. They're not going to chip that ball.
Oh. Trying to push it through the wall that time. And it comes all the way back out to P.J. Donahue. P.J. in control now. Trying to play it off on the right-hand side, looking for Kenny Jewell, taken away by Reesner. Reesner now bringing across the midfield. Jewell still following him all the way back, trying to fight for that ball. Reesner gets it, plays it off on the left-hand side, and offside's call that time. Gamble just a little bit over anxious.
Close offsides play, but we have to remember that if the offensive player is even with the defender, then he's offsides.
And of course, Gamble going with that speed of his. And, of course, it's bound to happen. Of course, he's got to take that chance because he might get that one call where he breaks through.
That's right.
Here's Boswell now trying to work it through. He's the captain for the Spongers to Gamble. Gamble looking to bend it in the middle. No one there as Callahan takes it and plays it back to the goaltender. Paul rushing in on Bill Twait. Twait quickly gets rid of it, plays it across to Byron Triplett. Byron now taking his time. Good move across the middle. Still in control. Byron with a couple of nice moves. Comes to the top of the D. Here's the shot, and it's wide. Bending off the side of his foot that time, Eddie, and substitutions coming on. Patterson coming on for Clearwater Central Catholic, and we'll have to wait and see who comes off. It looks like Thomas Markham will be coming off. Thomas still limping after that injury.
And that's a bit of a blow to Clearwater, I would think. He's an outstanding player. He's had a great first half, but obviously they want to look at him, maybe get him on fit and healthy for the second half.
Mike Hanlon along with Eddie Austin coming to you from Clearwater Central Catholic High School live here on Vision Cable. You're watching the semifinals of the 3A State Division. There's a long kick out to Gamble. Gamble loses it. Kelly knocks it into touch. And a throw-in coming up here for Tarpon Springs. No score on your screen right there, live on Vision Cable. Ball back in the middle now. Kelly loses it. Sloppy play that time. Callahan covers up, plays it right to Daly. Ball takes a bad hop, goes across Daly, but Jones is there to pick up for the Marauders. Ball comes into touch, and a throw-in coming up, going the Marauders' way. Quickly, Jones gets rid of it, looking for Bennett, and stepping up to clear it away that time was Gonzalez. Good play that time by the defender. Triplett now. Across to Daly. Daly loses it to Paul. Paul still in control now, trying to work it through. That's Tim Paul. Across to Bennett. Here's Bennett now looking for Callahan. The pass a little bit too far out of his way. They come back towards the middle, and Callahan is dragged down by Boswell, but still has control. Good skills that time, but a bad pass, and is picked off by Thomas. Thomas now playing it off on the right-hand side. They try and work that 1-2 combination, and it comes all the way back to the goaltender, Bill Twait.
Some good spirited play there. The Tarpon Springs, they're not afraid of this Clearwater team.
They certainly are. They're coming in. They're playing with all the heart in the world. As Kenny Jewell has it. Here's Jewell. Look at the shot. Loose ball. Comes out to the top of the D. Finally clears it away, and it goes right through Jones's leg. Goes right through Here's Bennett now. Bennett trying to get it to Jewell. Jewell loses it. And I'm sure that Jeff Jones is wondering what happened right there. The ball went right through his legs, Eddie.
He lost his concentration. He took his eye off the ball. It was an open goal and right underneath his legs. And again, I have to say, Mike, that goalkeeper, Patides, made a fantastic save, keeping Tarpon well in this game.
And we have an injured player for Tarpon Springs right now. And we're not sure what happened right there. We're going to have to see who exactly that is.
There was a collision on the play there, and
it may be Boswell, Eddie.
Yeah, he's holding his right ankle, so he may have a bad sprain there.
Of course, the coach has come out to see if his player is okay. Of course, the player's a little bit concerned. There's a good shot of Clearwater Central Catholic's bench. Some of the players right there, and of course Tom Markham standing up, Jim Kingston, and Tom Nibbio looking on with a little bit concern right now, Eddie.
Well, I think it's not so much concern and fear of the game. I think he's concerned that his team isn't playing all that well as a unit. That his defense and his midfield and his forward line has to play as one unit, and he has a lot of strength in the midfield, yet Clearwater Central Catholic, they're not really controlling the midfield the way they'd like to. They're being very frustrated by the aggressive play of Tarpon.
Some of the players now just having a little chit-chat, getting a drink, and catching their breath here while we have this break. Of course, the referee has stopped the clock, and we have just about 17 minutes to go in this first half. No score. Mike Hanlon along with Eddie Austin coming to you from Clearwater Central Catholic High School. And, of course, you are watching the semifinal game. The winner of this game will move on tomorrow night to play Bishop Curley in the finals in the 3A division. And we will be bringing you that live starting at 7:30 p.m. right here from Clearwater Central Catholic High School. Eddie, I know that this is probably one of the few games that you get a chance to get out and see at the high school level because you're very busy with the Rowdies. Just your overall impression here in the first few minutes of the game.
Well, I think there's a lot of quality play in this game. I think the tension is taking out some of the overall ability for the goalkeepers to field any shots. There's been very few shots, but overall it's been very impressive.
So Tarpon makes a few substitutions right there, and coming back into the lineup was Sumarcos, number 15, replacing the injured player. Of course, that injured player, number 9, Boswell. Just under 17 minutes remaining in this first half. Bill Twait handling the ball. Here's a good shot of Billy to P.J. Donahue. P.J. now taking his time. Plays it off on the right-hand side to Kenny Jewell. Jewell playing it to Bennett. Bennett still in control, trying to bend it back. Has it taken away by Paul. Here's Jeff Jones coming back now. Jones taking his time. Steps back, tries to get a little extra power in that ball. Comes to Callahan. He's dragged down. Thanopoulos now trying to play it through. Dean doing a good job over on that right-hand side. Ball comes back towards the middle now, trying to work it through. Goes into touch. Thrown coming up here for Tarpon Springs. Thanopoulos now coming over to take the throw-in. He's wearing number 12. There you see him on your screen. Goes it right inside to Martin. Martin in control now. Has it knocked into touch by Daly. And they're going to rule that it went off the side of the foot. And there you can see some of the crowd reacting to that game. The crowd not too pleased with that. And there you can see it's a full house here tonight at Clearwater Central Catholic High School. That is the visitor stands, and both of them are full. Ball played across in the middle to Chris Daly, and there's a good shot of some of the people on Clearwater Central Catholic. And look at this crowd here tonight at Clearwater Central Catholic. Here's a good chance now for the Marauders. Mike Hernandez in control. The ball goes into touch, throw, and coming up here for CCC. The ball back in the middle now to Bennett. Bennett still in control. Loses it to Reisner. Reisner pushing it towards the middle. P.J. Donahue has it now. Tries to bend it back. Reisner is there. And the ball goes into touch. Substitution coming up here for the Marauders.
Mike, it's obvious to see that Tarpon's very, very capable on defense. However, they've got to get some offense into the game if they're going to try and score any goals here. On the other hand, the Marauders, very well balanced team. However, I think they've been thrown off the rhythm by the pace of this game. They really need to slow it down and move the ball around much more efficiently. Quality passing. They're not getting the passes together.
Of course, the substitution that time, number 21, Steve Lindsay coming on for Chris Daly. Lindsay doing a good job getting one of the goals for the Marauders. while they were playing in the playoffs, trying to get here in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he is number 21, and he will go in on the left-hand side, playing in the midfield position, Daly's spot. And, of course, Daly will get a chance to catch his breath. The ball down on the right-hand side. Free kick coming up here for Tarpon Springs. Holly is over to take it. Holly taking his time now. Quickly plays it off on the left-hand side for Earl Thomas. Thomas trying to work it along the edge there. And a throw-in coming up that time. Just a little bit too cute. Not a lot of room there, Eddie, and electing to try and work it into that small area.
Not much creativity in the midfield area for Tarpon right now.
Samarco's now fighting for it with Jewel. Jewel gets it away. Reasoner's there. Reasoner's still in control. Leaves it for Gamble. And Gamble standing there at the midfield line loses it to Ed Kelly. Here's Kelly now. Holly. Back to Callahan. Callahan trying to push it off on the right-hand side. Here's Hernandez. This is the man with the moves. Let's see, pushes it off on the right-hand side, just outside the penalty area, so we'll have a free kick coming up.
And this is exactly what we expected. Tenacious defense on Tarpon against this young Hernandez. He's very, very fast, and Thomas is really frustrating him.
He certainly is. Of course, playing more of a physical game, not the type that Hernandez may be used to. Here's Hernandez now, still putting the moves on, trying to get back, and that's still going to be a problem right there if he continues to go down. There you see, they call him Magic Mike, and that's why. Here's a cross inside. Kelly is standing there. No one can get to it. It comes back outside to Hernandez. 3 Tarpon players are there. It's knocked it to touch. Throwing coming up for Clearwater Central Catholic. Callahan over to take it. And Eddie, what moves this young man has?
He certainly does, and he really has to attract defenders and move the ball quicker, because the more he dribbles, the more he's going to get suffocated by defenders.
Every time he touches the ball, it seems as if there's 3 red shirts there to see if they can cover up.
If I were Coach Nibby, I'd say attract the defense and move the ball to the other side of the field where we have some openings.
Moving the ball across the field right now is Jeff Jones. Here's Jones now on the off wing. Plays it across to Ed Kelly. Working that give and go. Here's Kelly trying to bend the ball in the middle for Kenny Jewell. And Jewell manages to keep it in play. Good effort that time by Kenny. Still fighting for the ball. And a foul is called. Obstruction call that time. And free kick coming up here for the Marauders in a very dangerous position, Eddie.
Let's see what they do on this set play.
Very close. Just yards away here from the near post is standing Reasoner. He wants to get close, giving instructions now. Paul, and of course the captain of the team, Boswell. 6 Marauders standing around now, seeing if they can get something going. Callahan is there. Here's a sharp ball in for Kelly. It's just head away. Here's Bennett with the shot. And a good save again by the goaltender. Tarpon Springs has really relied on that man, and that's tonight. He's done an excellent job.
Surely are, Mike. They surely are. They have to. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. He looks like he's got a lot of leadership qualities back there, and they look to him.
Ball comes down to Byron Triplett now. Byron takes his time, controls the ball, plays it wide across to Ed Kelly. Here's a sloppy play. Martin breaks it up. And a good play by Patterson coming up and cutting it off. Samarcos now fighting for it with Kenny Jewell. Kenny Jewell playing very well here tonight, really going after that ball. Samarcos now. Kenny Jewell fighting for it, and foul call that time. Free kick coming up for Tarpon Springs. There you see Kenny on your screen, number 14, call for that foul. Kenny having a great game so far. A lot of opportunities here to score, but the goaltender's doing a good job.
He sure is.
Paul now flicking it on for Gamble. Here's the chance, and an offside call on the play. And you can see the Tarpon side reacting. Billy Twait making the save regardless, but still, the crowd really getting on the linesman here. Not too pleased with that. You can see Billy Twait shaking his hand, saying, not to worry, no fear. Billy was there to make the save.
But it certainly did put some fear into this Marauder crowd here. Anything can happen in those set plays. That ball gets knocked into the goal mouth, a little deflection, and you can be in big trouble.
There you can see some of the crowd right there. Tarpon not too pleased with that last call. Here's Hernandez with the shot. And not too difficult for the goaltender to handle that time.
Well, they don't mind if Hernandez comes inside and shoots from that distance. It's pretty harmless. But what you don't want to let him do is get in behind you and take shots from inside the penalty box. And he's dangerous.
Back to P.J. Donahue. P.J. heading that ball right into the open area. Reasoner picks it up. Bennett is there. He's fighting for it. Reasoner still in control. Plays it back now to Samarcos. Samarcos taking his time, trying to work it through. Gets it to Martin. Martin still in control. Comes across the field looking for Paul. And it's broken up there by Byron Triplett. Byron doing a good job wearing number 11. Here you can see him turn on the speed right here. Still in control. Good hustle by Gamble as he comes back to challenge. And now comes across to Callahan. Callahan with a stylish move there, playing it off on the right-hand side, looking for Hernandez. And Eddie, I know you have something to say after that play.
Well, it was a stylish play, and it's all gutsy plays right now because the Clearwater Catholic had a great opportunity on the breakaway situation, and it was just that aggressive defense of Tarpon that kept them out again.
So Tarpon doing a good job of holding off the Marauders' attack here. Here's Byron Triplett now, still in control. Gets wide one player, comes down to Hernandez. It goes off of number 8 for Tarpon Springs. Thomas throwing coming up here for Clearwater Central Catholic. Here's Hernandez now. Thomas using his body, holding on to Hernandez. Hernandez still in control, wheels around. Here's the cross. No one there. Reasoner, Martin, they cleared away, and it comes all the way out to the midfield now. Tarpon Springs coming back on the counterattack. It's across the midfield line now, looking to play that wide ball. Takes his time, does play that long ball in the middle, looking for Gamble. P.J. Donahue is there and heads it in, looking to get it out of trouble, and good hustle that time by Byron Triplett, keeps it from going into touch. Comes across now, here's Jeff Jones. Jones slips on the turf and comes back and takes down Martin. Timeout called, and we may see Jones get a card here.
That was a bad foul from behind, but I don't think Jones tried to really hurt his player. It's just tenacious trying to win the ball back after he lost it. But I'll say this, Mike, Tarpon's failure to put passes together, 3 and 4 successive passes, have really hurt their momentum up front. They're relying on set plays, as in this situation.
Here's a good chance for the Spongers right here. No score. There you see Dean Thanopoulos playing that ball in the middle, trying to work it through. Comes back, trying to bend it around, and Patterson is there to stop that ball. Of course, a dangerous one right outside that area with all those people standing around. As Eddie mentioned, it could very easily hit off of someone. There you can see Tarpon Springs coach, and the man throwing the ball in there right there, Earl Thomas, number 8. And of course, Thomas, this game is important to him, even though he is only a junior. For many of these players, it is their senior year. Someone will end their high school career right here tonight.
That's right, and the majority of the Marauders team, I understand, are seniors.
Seniors like Twait, Kelly, Hernandez, Jones, and Callahan, along with Triplett, just to name a few. And of course, one thing that Tom Nibio does have is a very good bench, so you can expect to hear from them again next year. It's amazing how he keeps bringing these players along.
He's doing
a fine
job.
Tom on your screen. He's doing an excellent job, as Eddie mentioned. Corner kick coming up. Reasoner over to take it. Left foots it in there, a low one, and it's headed away by Patterson. Patterson doing a good job since coming on, substituting for Thomas Markham. Here's Reasoner now. There's a great shot as he bends it in for Gamble. Gamble coming in and no whistle. Everyone thought he was offsides. No one played the whistle. Twait is there and he covers up. And there's a great play by Bill Twait. And Twait is really hurt on the play. And a dangerous situation. You can see Bill walking off the side. Everyone thought he was offsides. No one played the whistle, Eddie.
That's right, and they caught the Marauders defense sleeping a little bit there, but good heads-up play, courageous play by Twait.
He realized the situation and went for it, and it was successful. So the goalies have really been tested here. Here's P.J. Donahue now, playing it across the field to Lindsay. Lindsay still in control now, plays it off for Byron Triplett, trying to work that give and go. Byron's still in control now, pushing it forward for Bennett. Just a little bit behind him. Bennett has to come back now, gives it back to Triplett. Triplett off on the left-hand side, trying to use his speed, crosses it inside, and there's a good save. Great save that time. Is coming up with a save right in front of Jewell, and had that ball slipped out of his hands, Kenny Jewell was standing on the doorstep.
That's right, with another great heads-up play, that goalkeeper. Super game. Both keepers are having.
Throwing coming up now for the Spongers. Of course, just under 5 minutes to go. And of course, be sure and stay with us here at halftime, because Eddie Austin will have some interviews for us, and we'll be able to run down some of the action here. And of course, with no score here, where there won't be much to run down in statistics-wise, except for the shots, it has been a very exciting game, despite the score being 0-0. Don't not let that mislead you. Eddie is heading down to the field now to get his interview. Taking his time now, Byron Triplett. Playing it off to Triplett. Triplett knocked down on the play. Referee says play on. He thought that perhaps Hernandez might get that and play the advantage. Here's Lindsay now. Watched here by Paul. Paul in control. Plays it off to Samarkis, but not before the ball goes into touch. And a throw-in is coming up here for Clearwater Central Catholic. Triplett and Donahue discussing tactics right there. You can see from that side of the field. Taking their time now. Here's the throw-in. Martin trying to play it forward. Only one man forward for Tarpon Springs. Ed Kelly is there. Kelly still in control, loses it for a second. Martin tries to steal it away. That's DeMarcos over there. And looking for Martin. And a foul's called. The ball's gone into touch. Throw-in coming up for Clearwater Central Catholic. Referee blowing his whistle. Substitution coming on now. Thomas Markham coming in and Patterson coming off. Thomas, after being injured early in the match, comes back on. And Patterson, who has done a great job here in this first half, filling in for his teammate Markham, comes off to get a breather. Here's the throw-in, comes to Twait. Marcos is there to watch him. Twait takes his time now, quickly distributes, gets it across to Thomas Markham. Thomas now has space, continues to run with the ball. Plays it down the left-hand side, trying to work it through. They're watching very closely. The crowd's starting to get into it now, yelling CCC. They want something to happen, and a sloppy play that time almost cost the corner kick. Mike Hanlon along with Eddie Austin bringing you the action from Clearwater Central Catholic High School. You are seeing the semifinals of the 3A State Division. Tarpon Springs in the red uniforms, Clearwater Central Catholic in the right. And of course, both of these teams, 1 and 2 in the state, and they are really going at each other here. Foul coming up there against Lindsay, and a free kick for Tarpon Springs. Tarpon now preparing to do something here, trying to plan out the strategy. Taking their time now. Casarelas now looking over the situation. Clearwater Central Catholic forming a bit of a wall, losing the offside strap. Here's a loose ball up front, no one's there, and Thomas Markham clears it away at the last second. What a great play by number 4. Number 4, Thomas Markham, standing on the doorstep. There was no one there. Bill Twait couldn't get to it, and Tom Markham cleared it off the goal line. A great play for Clearwater Central Catholic. Great play by Markham, and I'm sure that Clearwater Central Catholic, their fans, their players, all looked at it and said, boy, we got away with a lucky one right there, because that could have very easily gone in. Hernandez now playing it back in the middle. Clearwater Central Catholic getting a little bit sloppy now in their back line. Byron Triplett now pushing it forward, looking for Chris Bennett. Time winding down here in this first half. Under 2 minutes remaining, but of course we'll have some injury time. And the ball looking for Mike Hernandez. Signals get crossed. Throwing coming up here for Tarpon Springs. And of course, Tarpon Springs trying to get something going. Back in the middle now, PJ Donahue pushing it forward. PJ still in control now, taking his time, pushing the ball forward, leaves it off there for Jewell. Donahue still in control, working his way through from his half of the field, and is taken away by Holly. Donahue now with the throw-in. And here's a loose ball in front. Racing over to get to it is Callahan, and he can't get to it in time. Covered up by Tarpon Springs. Tarpon Springs now taking their time. Time winding down here in this first half of action. No score. Coming to you live from Clearwater Central Catholic High School. The semifinals of the 3A State Division. The ball at the midfield now. They cross it in the middle. Triplett is there. Back towards the middle. Boswell is there. He's trying to control it. He can't do anything. Finally loses it. Here's Mike Hernandez now. Using his speed. He's got some room. Still in control. Cuts back in the middle. Looks to his right. Cuts back inside. Still has control. Takes the shot. Oh, and a great save. That ball just skidded wide. And Hernandez really showing what he's made of right there with a couple of great moves. Corner kick coming up now. And right before that half, Clearwater Central Catholic with another excellent opportunity to score right there. And there it is, the end of the first half. And of course, it was a very exciting first half. Many, many, many opportunities. There you see the score right there, the crowd rising to their feet. No score here from Clearwater Central Catholic High School. And of course, everyone looking for some type of a goal. We'd like to thank our sponsors for this game, Merrill Lynch Realty. Of course, Merrill Lynch helping us out here by sponsoring this game this evening, helping you to be a part of Clearwater Central Catholic High School and their soccer. And of course, the national pools also contributing here, helping us out. And of course, without the sponsors, this wouldn't be possible. Of course, these people have come together here to help you bring this telecast. It's very important. And of course, finally, Clearwater Central Catholic Parish School Association. We thank all of our sponsors here tonight. We will return right after this.
It's nice to know when you're at home or traveling far.
Eddie Austin has gone down to the field, and he has a guest for us. No score here at the end of one half of play. Let's go downstairs to Eddie Austin right now.
Welcome down on the field. We have referee administrator and former district commissioner of Pinellas County, Mr. Bob Salzer. Bob, what do you think about the tension and the aggressive situation we see on the field here tonight?
Well, this game is probably the biggest game that high school soccer in this area has seen in a long time, because you've got the #1 and #2 teams in the state playing each other here. And Tarpon Springs, I feel, is one of those teams that can effectively really mark Clearwater Central Catholic and do a good job against them. I think Central might be a little concerned about this game tonight.
Well, Bob, you've had some experience refereeing for both teams throughout the high school season. What do you see as going wrong for Clearwater Central Catholic tonight?
Well, I don't know that so much is going wrong for them. I just think that they're being marked one-on-one a lot closer tonight than they ever have been before. I know usually they can finesse their way in the back with the ball a lot, and they're not having the opportunity to do that too much tonight because the forwards for Tarpon are right on them all the time, and if they make one little mistake with not enough pace on that ball, it's going to cost them a goal.
It would seem to me that the aggressive style of play of Tarpon has really knocked Clearwater Central Catholic off their usual rhythm of flowing play, wing play, and Hernandez has been shut down so far.
Yeah, I think so. I really think that both teams are playing rather nervous right now. I think a goal in the game would settle the game down. Neither one of these teams are so much a run and gun type of club. They're much more of a kick it around, control it, bring it up the sides, and move on it. And neither one of them have much of an opportunity to do that at all. Tarpon's kicked the ball up rather continuously all night to nobody. And you're right, Hernandez has been, with the exception of a couple instances, fairly well shut down. Yeah.
Oh, you have to look at Clearwater Catholic, and you have to give them a tremendous amount of respect in that they have a lot of depth, a lot of balance, they have strengths in every position. Yet it seems that they're having a tough time getting their midfield going, controlling that field. And it's obviously because of the high rate of play and aggressive play by Tarpon. And what about the goalkeeping? It's been outstanding.
Well, both these goalkeepers are just really excellent goalkeepers. Billy Twait, everybody here knows quite a bit about him. Billy Petites is a very, very strong goalkeeper. He was an all-state goalkeeper a year ago or so in the youth leagues, and they're going to play their game, and you're going to have to walk over their face to get the ball in the goal. That's the way it's going to go tonight.
It's obvious that the strategy of Tarpon is to fall back, win the ball, and then quick counterattack. And they've been taking full advantage of all throw-in situations with the long throws and some dangerous set pieces. But I really feel that this youngster, Gamble, their high goal scorer, he really needs to hang around the box a little bit more.
Well, Tommy's the type of guy that is opportunistic in that he'll get some garbage goals, but he's very, very quick on the ball. He has a good shot, and he plays very well. He really does.
He's a strong player. He's got a lot of fouls called against him because of his aggressive style of play, but it's that type of player that can make things happen. And every time that ball drops into the penalty box, you see Gamble around there trying to create something. One question on the midfield of Clearwater Central Catholic. What do you think they have to do in the second half?
Well, I think number one, the midfield for both teams, not only Central but Tarpon, are leaving too much space for the teams to play with and allowing them to bring the ball up and attack off of it. If Tarpon does that, it's going to cost them because they're going to put Hernandez right in there and he's going to nail one, or Jeff Jones. If they do it the other way and they allow Tarpon too much room, they've got Gamble to contend with, and Rick Martin stands up front and gets a lot of stuff too.
Well, Bob, it should be quite an exciting second half, and as you know, a few years ago when everybody was trying to get high school soccer in, this was a dream to think that we'd have so many people in the stadium. Bob, thanks so much for your comments.
Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it.
Back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Eddie, and Of course, Bob Salzer down there having a word with our man Eddie Austin from the Tampa Bay Rowdies. There you see the score on your screen. 0-0. We will return right after this.
To keep in tune with what's going on in the local sports scene, watch the sports page. I'm Jack Loring.
And I'm Pam Sirfas. You can watch the sports page on Mondays at 7 and Wednesdays at 8:30. We give you what you want to see.
Pam, everything from Little League Baseball to pro football.
And high school highlights as well.
The sports page, Mondays and Wednesdays.
You better watch it.
Springs. And there you see the score on your screen. 0-0 after one half of play. 40 minutes of action. Both of these teams going head-to-head here. Clearwater Central Catholic with an early chance, Kenny Jewell. And a couple of great saves by both goaltenders have helped to keep that score at 0-0. Clearwater Central Catholic heading back out onto the field now in just a moment. Tarpon Springs down on the lower right-hand side. And, of course, both of these teams here in the semifinals. The winner of this game will move on and play Bishop Moore Curley. Of course, check that Bishop Curley, and they were the winners in an earlier match played here at 2 p.m. today between themselves and Middleburg. And Middleburg having a good game there, but just falling a little bit short, and time ran out on them. Of course, this game right here, the big draw, because these are the two top teams in Pinellas County. These are the top two teams in the state, and this is the game that everyone has been waiting for. These teams have not met this year. Of course, Tarpon Springs did win the Pinellas County Conference, and everyone is very impressed with their performance. But, of course, Clearwater Central Catholic 28-0. And now it all comes down to one half of soccer for both of these teams, because the winner of this game moves on to tomorrow night. There you see the dome, Clearwater Central Catholic's gymnasium, and coming out from that dome right now are the Clearwater Central Catholic Marauders. Ed Kelly leading the way. They're number 18, standing over there, Skip Eigenman, Byron Triplett, and a few of the trainers coming on. And, of course, the crowd really enjoying that game right there. Some of the fans, they're all out here tonight because this is a big matchup. Clearwater Central Catholic, of course, they have been behind before. They're not behind tonight, but they are a good come-from-behind team. Tarpon Springs, a very strong defensive team. They are a team that has made themselves on their defense. Their coach is very much into their defense. They know what they have to do. They have to hold off the strong offensive Clearwater Central Catholic. Meanwhile, Tarpon Springs, they've had some chances. Tom Gamble has not been able to cash in so far. However, he is the man that Tarpon Springs will be looking to as play continues on. Right now you can see some of the players. Tarpon Springs in a huddle. Clearwater Central Catholic, each coach talking to a specific player. Right on your top right screen there you can see Skip Eigenman talking to Chris Daly, giving him instructions, telling him what he needs to do here before they get underway. Tom Nibbio is on your screen. Of course, Tom looking on with concern right now, and talking to Captain Sean Callahan, going around assuring a few of the players. And, of course, Tom has been here before. He knows what it's all about. And there is a man who is new at the game. Tarpon Springs coach. He has never been this far before. Tarpon Springs, very pleased with their performance throughout the year. And tonight they have an excellent opportunity here to upset the Clearwater Central Catholic Marauders. They're going up against a very strong team with players like Hernandez, Jones, Jewell, Kelly, and Twait. Meanwhile, Tarpon Springs comes in here with stars of their own, like their goaltender, Batitis. He's done a great job. Paul, Thanopoulos, Scott, Paul, and Samarcos, the Paul brothers. They played very well throughout the year. And there's an excellent shot of Tarpon Springs. They're a team that works together and a team that has done very well throughout the season. Some of the statistics, of course, Martin, he came up with 12 goals on the season. Gamble, he's their key man, 22 goals on the season. But more importantly, he has 10 assists, so he can really work the ball. He'll be a dangerous man. They'll have to work the ball through and see if they can come up with some things in the second half, as Reesner will be trying to work the ball through. Those are all key players. Meanwhile, Clearwater Central Catholic, they'll be relying on their captain, their captain, and, of course, he is Mr. Callahan, number 10, and of course they've relied on him all year long. 17 goals, 12 assists. Sean Callahan has really done the job for Clearwater Central Catholic. Mike Hernandez, 25 goals. This is what it all comes down to. 40 minutes of soccer left for one team here. The winner goes on to the state finals. Tarpon Springs in the red, playing from my left to right. Clearwater Central Catholic playing from my left to right. There you can see Sean Callahan wearing the green armband, indicating that he is, yes indeed, the captain of this Clearwater Central Catholic Marauder team. 40 minutes of soccer left for one of these teams. We're in the semifinals. Here's Byron Triplett now. Back to Jeff Jones. Jones now brings it across the midfield stripe. Ball goes into touch, thrown coming up here for Clearwater Central Catholic. Byron Triplett now preparing to throw the ball and gets it across to Callahan. Callahan still in control, plays it across to Triplett. Triplett looking off on the left-hand side, trying to work that ball through. UCC speed, plays it wide to Hernandez. Hernandez now with that very dangerous cross ability. Still in control, plays it back to Triplett. Here's Triplett with a shot. Oh, and a great save. Coming up with that save, Tarpon Springs goaltender, and he has been outstanding here tonight. 113 saves on the season, and that's what it is all about right there. And he was as cool as could be as he snagged that ball out of the air. And right away, Clearwater Central Catholic moves in on the attack. Great shot by Triplett, and there you can see Tarpon Springs goaltender very pleased with that last save. It comes back now to Jeff Jones. Jones in control, right below us now in front of the stands. Plays it back to Daly. Daly plays that long ball across the midfield now, looking to work it through for Bennett. Taken away by Reasoner. Reasoner playing it up to Paul. Paul trying to work it through in the middle, looking for Gamble. Referee has blown his whistle. Free kick coming up here for Clearwater Central Catholic. The ball's gone too far, and it'll be a throw-in. Byron Triplett now joining me back up in the booth after the interview. Eddie Austin, and of course, Eddie, just seconds into the first half, Byron Triplett with a shot right outside of the goal mouth, and a great save by the goaltender.
We saw that goalkeeper come up with a big-time save again, didn't we, Mike?
He certainly did, and Sean Callahan knocked down on that play. Of course, the referee saying Sean getting his shoulder in there a little bit too quick, so we'll have a free kick for Tarpon Springs. No score. Mike Hanlon along with Eddie Austin. We're in the second half of action. This is the semifinal of the boys 3A state division. The winner here moves on to the finals tomorrow night. And Eddie, I mentioned while you were downstairs, there's 40 minutes of soccer left for one of these teams.
That's right, and for all of these seniors, that's got to be going through in their mind. They want to play tomorrow night.
Here's Jewell with a couple of great moves. Crosses it inside, and a great defensive play that time by Thomas. He committed himself and came up with the play, Eddie.
He certainly did. Young Thomas has played quite a good game tonight.
He's had a tough assignment in Mike Hernandez, and he has been up and away with that play there because he is really doing a great job. It comes across to Markham. Markham now out on the right-hand side. Plays that cross inside, looking for Jones, and the ball goes just a little bit too far. So a goal kick coming up here for Tarpon Springs.
And you can see that the Marauders are coming out, and they're trying to get a goal early so they can crack this game open. And I believe one goal will crack this game open.
One of the people up here in the press box was talking. He said, if play continues like this, it could be the mistake that ends this game. And a mistake, the team that makes a mistake could end up being the loser. And when I see a mistake, I mean a sloppy play, a ball play back to the goaltender, someone walks in and picks it up.
Well, there is some muddy conditions on the field there, and people slip, people make mistakes all the time when this type of tension is on them.
Pressure really starting them out now as Gamble takes control. Plays it back to P.J. Donahue. Donahue with a nice move, gets it across to Callahan. The 1-2 combination's working fairly well here for the Marauders early in the second half. That's one thing that they're known for. They will trap that ball coming out of the air, work that triangle pass. 1, 2, 3 touch passes. Here it is to Hernandez. Taking his time now. Still in control. Watched there very closely by Thomas. Still in control. Now he draws 3 players to him. 4. Benson inside for Jewell, and just a little bit too far. Here's Paul. Jewell is there. They're trying to take it away. Here's Jewell in all alone, trying to get the shot off. He's knocked down, and no whistle blown, and Jewell is very upset with that.
I'll tell you what, the Tarpon Spring defenders, they don't give you any room at all. And, you know, that was a situation that Jewell had an opportunity, and boom, 4 defenders were on him immediately.
No space for Clearwater Central Catholic. That is one thing that Tarpon Springs is doing very well, and there's a great shot right there. You can see Thanopoulos staying very close to Jeff Jones. Jones now taking his time, trying to create a little bit of room. Sends that high lobbing ball inside. Here's Callahan trying to bend it around. The ball's still loose. Callahan going for it. No one in front. Oh, and it goes right by Bennett. Bennett missed an open goal. Jewell was standing there. No one can get to it. It went over the head of Jewell. Bennett went walking right by, so to speak, and I'm sure he'll think about that tonight when he lays down to rest.
Oh, what a great opportunity for the Marauders. Unfortunately, nobody was on the other end of the cross situation.
Bennett, number 7, and you can see the disappointment in his face as he walks back towards his own goal mouth. He'll think about that one for a long time if the Marauders lose here tonight.
And this is the type of game where, as time goes on, you know, you have to take advantage of these opportunities. When you get a gift like that, you've got to put that ball into the back of the net.
There you can see number 10, Sean Callahan, injured on the play, and no doubt, apparently it's going to be Lindsay up. Skip Eigenman sending him in. Tom Nivio escorting his player off, and that is the captain for Clearwater Central Catholic. He was injured in the Tampa Catholic game. Hopefully he'll be okay, able to walk off the field under his own power.
That's a bit of a blow to the Marauders. He's not only the captain, but he's the orchestrator of all their midfield situations.
He certainly is. 17 goals on the season for a midfielder. A strong performance. Here's Jones. Jones trying to get a little bit tricky right there, putting his hand to it, seeing if anyone would see it. They're going to say that it was off of Tarpon Springs.
The referee called a prior infraction holding.
So a free kick coming up. There you see Chris Bennett pushing it off on the right-hand side. Jones trying to use his hand on that play, and of course he was held, so a free kick coming up here for the Marauders. This is what many people say they are best at, the set plays. Steps back now. Here's a long ball inside, looking for Jones, still loose, and it's handled very nicely that time by Clearwater's Tarpon Springs defenses. They absorb yet another shock, Eddie.
Yes, they sure have.
Here's Martin now. This is the first chance that Tarpon Springs has had.
Offsides.
Well, offsides is Gamble. No one sees him. The ball's played into Twait, and the linesman a little bit slow getting down that time, Eddie. You can see Tom Nibio up right away yelling, saying offsides, offsides, as Gamble was perhaps maybe a pace or two ahead of the rest of the play. Ball comes back now. Here's Reisner. Tom Nibio really starting to pace the sidelines now. He knows that an early goal can really cause a lot of trouble for the Marauders because they will be fighting their way back against the tough Tarpon Springs defense. Here's Hernandez now, just outside the penalty area. Makes a couple of moves inside, still in control. Here's Jewell with a golden opportunity. Loose ball in front, and he is snuffed again, and again, and again.
And the difference in the ball game so far has been the heads-up play of both goalkeepers. That's a fantastic save.
It has come down to goaltending tonight, and Eddie, I have to give you a lot of credit. That's what you said it would be at the beginning of the game, and it has definitely been that type of a game. Here's another golden opportunity, and Markham knocks Martin off the ball. Martin tries to bend it in. Here's the shot, and it's just wide.
Yeah, and Tarpon, they're quite content to get those quick counterattack opportunities. They're sitting back, frustrating the midfield play of the Marauders, coming up with the ball and getting down there and taking an odd shot or two with the hope that it'll go in.
That's what they've been doing so far here tonight. Goal kick coming up for Clearwater Central Catholic. This is something that we have not seen a lot of tonight. Goal kicks, Eddie. The ball's been played back to the keeper.
Very few. You're exactly right, Mike.
Twait sending it out to Jones. Jones trying to work it to Daly. Goes off of Paul. It's a touch throw and coming up here for Clearwater Central Catholic. Jones leaves it for Triplett. Everyone moves up for the Marauders. Ed Kelly now and the rest of the team moving forward as Triplett puts it in play. Gets it to Paul. Tarpon Springs giving the Marauders a game of their life here as they're stopping them in every way possible. Here's Hernandez now, looking around, still in control, taking his time, plays it back to Triplett. Triplett now uses his speed, breaks through two players, takes a shot, and this could be a dangerous one, and a great save.
Great play. Some of the most threatening plays have come from young Triplett. I would think as the game goes on, if it's still 0-0, Tom Nibio's going to have to move him into the midfield because he makes things happen.
Triplett is definitely doing the job. Callahan preparing to come back on now. And you can see Callahan going onto the field. There's the man who would have to be man of the match right now if we call this game because he is doing a great job. And, of course, Byron Triplett, he has created a lot of opportunities for Clearwater Central Catholic. Lindsay comes off. Callahan goes on. There you can see time winding down now. Of course, they'll have another 16 minutes to go after that. Corner kick now for the Marauders. Hernandez standing down in the corner. It's a short pass looking for Jewell. It's cleared away, comes out to Triplett. Triplett can't handle it. He's fighting there for it with Gamble. Still in control. Does a good job. Plays it off to Ed Kelly, a dangerous one. Kelly comes up quickly. Gets it to P.J. Donahue. P.J. on the march now, trying to work that ball through. Comes inside, gives it off to Chris Bennett. Bennett trying to work it by. Here's a cross inside. No one there. Jones tries to get it. Here's a shot by Donahue. Jewell is there. Jewell tries to take the shot. He's knocked down still. Gets it to Donahue. Here's Jones. They're fighting over it, and it's just knocked away. Confusion between Donahue and Jones may have cost them that shot right there. Corner kick coming up for the Marauders, Eddie.
Boy, some super goal mouth action. Marauders have been trying all night to get an open shot. They just can't seem to get the time to settle it. The speed and the aggressive of the defenders of the Tarpon Springs team has frustrated them all night, and that was a glorious opportunity, Mike.
Donahue and Jones a little bit confused as to whether Jones would take it or perhaps Donahue. Finally, Jones went to take it. Here's the cross inside now. It's a long one for Bennett, just a little bit too far. He does a good job to knock that ball down. Then bicycles it back in the middle, and the referee has called a foul that time. Free kick coming for Tarpon Springs. We're coming to you live from Clearwater Central Catholic High School. No score. Mike Hanlon along with Eddie Austin of the Tampa Bay Rowdies bringing you the action.
They've really silenced the Marauder offense tonight, and the reason being they've shut them out from the front of the goal area. That goal area, that area right in front of the goal there, 10, 15 yards, that's your vital space. And you have to protect that because the majority of goals come from that area, and the Marauders haven't been able to penetrate that vital space.
So Tarpon Springs continues to shut down Clearwater's mighty offense. The ball comes back out now. Byron Triplett still in control. Jeff Jones playing it back. Jones doing a good job of working the sideline. And there is the man that is holding down Mike Hernandez. Of course, number 8, Earl Thomas, doing an excellent job. That ball is knocked into touch. And we're going to have a few changes here. Referee asking Byron to step back, go back to the proper position. Byron Triplett, number 11 on your screen. There you can see him throwing the ball in, looking for Mike Hernandez. Gets it to Hernandez. Hernandez loses control for a second. And another throw-in coming up for Clearwater Central Catholic. So they continue to move the ball forward. Substitution. No, they're not going to. Yes, there you can see, raising his hand. Yes, indeed, he wants to make a substitution. The referee asking the players to stop. And look who's coming out, Eddie. Gamble is coming out, and Samarcos is going in. So apparently they're going to give him a rest for a few minutes.
He must be, and he must have a slight injury there. They're looking at his leg. He's done a lot of hard running tonight, and I'm sure he's taken a lot of tough knocks on his knees and legs.
Of course, weather conditions perfect for this match. Temperature about 60 degrees right now, and no wind. So the players are really enjoying conditions that they feel a little bit soft after all this rain.
Oh, it's perfect soccer weather. Perfect.
Taking his time now, boots it down the field, trying to work it through, looking for Paul. Here's Paul now, plays it back to the other Paul. The Paul brothers now playing a large part in this game. Back to the inside now, taken by Holly. Holly loses it to P.J. Donahue. Here's Kenny Jewell now. Kenny Jewell still in control. Will's back in the middle for Sean Callahan. Callahan trying to work through. Comes back outside. Boswell to Bennett. Bennett still in control. Pushing it off on the right-hand side. No, says, I'll come back towards the middle. Still does. Plays it inside to Kenny Jewell. Here's Thomas Markham with a shot. And that's one of the first times that we've seen that. Someone take a shot from right outside the penalty area. Oh, and Boswell going after Kenny Jewell. Jewell doesn't go down. And everyone's yelling for it. No, they sure don't, Eddie. And what they're not going to like even more is that the ball is going to be going Tarpon Springs' way. And there you can hear the crowd reaction. There's a great shot of the crowd here. Wall-to-wall people. This is probably one of the biggest crowds that Clearwater Central Catholic have ever had. And of course, sure everyone is enjoying themselves. A great game here this evening for both these teams. And it's a disappointing fact to know that one of these teams will go home a loser because both teams have done excellent things on the field tonight, Eddie.
They both deserve a lot of credit for Pinellas High School soccer. Fantastic.
P.J. Donahue now racing after it with Samarcos. P.J. comes away with the ball, still in control now, fighting with it. Tries to bend it around, gets it to Bennett. The crowd really getting into this game now. The ball comes all the way back to Tarpon Springs goaltender, and he'll be looking to clear it down the field, Eddie.
There's a tremendous discipline on the field by both teams. If you just noticed, the Tarpon Springs player just lost the ball, and he just ran 50 yards back to try and get it. They're not letting anything happen to chance here. They're playing the entire game with reckless abandon.
Kenny Jewell down on the right-hand side. Of course, Billy Twait down on the other side of the field. He has not touched the ball too much in this second half. And, Eddie, that makes you wonder if all of a sudden he is tested. Here's a good opportunity. Here's Jones now trying to wheel out a good play by Thanopoulos there as he clears it away. And what I was saying right there was Bill Twait hasn't touched the ball in perhaps 20 minutes, and suddenly he's called on to make a big save. Could be tough.
It really has. Twait has to keep his concentration level up at all times.
Here's Jones now, trying to work it through. Watch there by Dean Thanopoulos. And a throw-in coming up here for Clearwater Central Catholic.
Now, how many games have you seen, Mike, over the years when another team is pressing, and the defending team get the ball, quick counterattack, and it's a goal?
And, of course, that's the one thing that Clearwater Central Catholic are concerned about, and that's why they have their man, P.J. Donahue, standing back towards the midfield and allowing another man to stand with him, of course, Chris Daly. Here's a long ball across. Here's Thomas Markham getting ahead on it. Jewell has to get back on sides. The ball comes all the way out, and here's what Eddie's talking about, and a good play by Thomas Markham as he comes back to help out. P.J. Donahue racing after it, comes from behind. Foul is called, and it's going to be going Clearwater Central Catholic's way. They take it real quick. Heads-up play that time. Comes across to Kenny Jewell. We don't even have time to tell you who committed that foul. That's how fast this game is going. Boswell comes out towards the middle now. Boswell taking his time now, standing at the midfield line, trying to work it through, and there's a man who's having a great game. Byron Triplett. Byron still in control, asking everyone to move up, looking for Sean Callahan, taken away now by Tarpon Springs. Here's Chris Daly stepping into the picture. Daly's still in control. It comes back to Boswell, and it looks as if he'll be content with playing it back to the goaltender.
A little sloppy bit of passing there on the part of Tarpon, and this is what's frustrated Clearwater all night. They haven't been able to put too many passes together. When you win the ball and you've got some space in front of you, both teams have to calm down and look up and make a nice pass to the next player and work that ball up the field. And so far, they've been losing the ball much too easy.
Bennett now trying to get to that ball, loses it. Tom Markham is right there to cover up. Here's Kenny Jewell now. Jewell taking his time. A little bit slow, but Thomas Markham comes back to the ball, recovers, pushing in forward, takes the shot, and it's just wide. And that one would have gotten in because the goaltender had slipped.
That was a beautiful effort. Beautiful effort, and sometimes you need that. When you're forward line, they just can't seem to get a break there. You need somebody to come through from the back, and good opportunity, good situation by Markham there.
Excellent shot that time by Thomas Markham, and of course that is the second time that he has done that, and only the second time that Clearwater Central Catholic has taken a shot from outside the penalty area in the second half, Eddie. Ball comes back to the middle now. Holly boots it down the field, trying to clear it out of trouble. Comes back to Bennett. Bennett in control. He's watched there very closely by Reesner. That's a good matchup here tonight. Those two players going at it. And Reesner is hurt. Apparently he's having a bit of problem right there with a muscle pull. And this is a very hard-fought game, and it's starting to take its toll on a few of these players.
The pace of this game has been electrifying. It's no wonder that youngsters down there with a cramp, because they have run non-stop from the very beginning of this game, and eventually that will take a toll. And perhaps, Mike, when something we didn't mention earlier on, perhaps the fittest team walk away with this team.
That's true, Eddie, and of course, many people say it's Tarpon Springs because they have not played as many games as Clearwater Central Catholic. Clearwater Central Catholic says, well, but we've had time to prepare, and we're at this every single day. There's a good chance this time, but it goes too far. So we'll just have to wait and see. There are many schools of thought, and of course, we will know in just a matter of minutes which one will prevail.
And it's obvious that once you have fatigue on the field, mistakes come much easier.
Jeff Jones standing now at the midfield, waiting for Bill Twait to send the ball up towards him. Clearwater Central Catholic switching around. Jones moves into the middle. And Tarpon Springs marking man-to-man up front. They have been very successful so far this evening. Here's the ball at the midfield, headed right back towards the right-hand side. Ball goes into touch. Throwing coming up for Clearwater Central Catholic. Tom Nibio not making as many substitutions as he usually does, keeping most of the players in there. He feels that apparently they are in the game, they have a feel for the match, and he's not going to make any changes. Phenopoulos now. Gamble comes back to help out, takes it away. Ed Kelly is there, clears it back. Here's Sean Callahan now, pushing it off on the right-hand side for Thomas Markham. Markham doing a good job of sending those long balls in. Holly clears this one away, and another throw-in coming up for Clearwater Central Catholic. The Marauders having a lot of throw-ins here tonight, Ed.
They are, and there's a fine throw in there.
Triplett now, just on the right-hand side, uses his speed to cut inside, and there's a shot, and a very close call that time. Clearwater Central Catholic looking for the corner kick. The referee says no, linesman says no, and play will continue.
You know, you have to look at the complexion of the game. Tarpon Springs looking for counterattacks, but they haven't been very influential offensively. And you've got a guy like Byron Triplett who's sitting back on the defense, and every time he goes up, he creates problems for the opposing team. They have to move Triplett into the midfield. There's no sense in keeping the youngster back in there when they really don't have to fear the offensive thrust of Tarpon at this point.
Every time Byron has moved up the field, he has created some type of opportunity for the Marauders, as Eddie mentioned. You just saw the score on your screen, and of course it is 0-0. And one is beginning to wonder, would there be overtime? Here's Gamble. He falls down. Here's a golden opportunity. Paul with the shot. It's in the back of the net. Paul scores number 6. And there's what Eddie Austin has been talking about all night long. All of a sudden, Tarpon Springs gets that one chance. Gamble plays it back in the middle. And now we have a 1-0 lead. Tarpon Springs on top with just about 15 minutes to go in the half. And you can see Tarpon Springs, they are absolutely going wild.
Boy, you talk about taking advantage of an opportunity. They stuck that goal beautifully into the corner of the net. Thwaite didn't have a chance, and now we have a ball game on our hands now.
This game should really pick up the pace now. Tarpon Springs looking to upset. Here's the replay, and there you can see Paul just breaking through, and not a whole lot Bill Thwaite could do right there. And, of course, everyone wondering whether or not the Marauders can come back.
A little lack of concentration on the defense there, and super opportunity for Tarpon Springs. They iced it beautifully. Beautiful goal. Now I think, Mike, we'll see a little bit of the rhythm come back into the Clearwater Central Catholic's normal game. I think they have to look at it a little bit more seriously now. They're down 1-0. They have to put together passes. They have to get somehow in and behind the Tarpon Springs defense.
Here's a golden opportunity right there, and that's how you finish them off. And, of course, you have to feel sorry for Bill Thwaite.
You certainly do, because he did everything he could. He was one-on-one with the forward player. He covered his angle well, but it was hit so perfectly into the corner. It's just one of those things. One-on-one, it's a goal.
Tarpon Springs now playing that long ball. They're a little more confident now. And, of course, the call's starting to go their way. Martin, there's Paul. And the crowd just really going wild here now, Eddie, because there's less than 20 minutes to go in this match. Time is starting to wind down. That is a lot of time still for the Marauders. If they keep their heads about them and play their type of soccer, everything should go okay for them. They'll be able to get back into this match. Just they've had many opportunities, and of course, it's just a matter of finishing. A lot of cracks in Tarpon Springs defense, though.
Clearwater's a quality team. They just got to get their heads up and get back into the game.
Here's Daly now, and he's watched there by Paul, and there he shoots a score on your screen, 1-0. As we mentioned, Tarpon Springs on top. The goal coming midway through the second half, and we're having a very physical match here between Jones and Thanopoulos. Thanopoulos pushing Jones, Jones pushing back. Here's another opportunity. Clearwater Central Catholic trying to push up, and it's cleared away by Thomas Markham. And Gamble pushing on, so free kick for Clearwater Central Catholic, Eddie.
And again, you can see how spirited that the Tarpon Springs team are on this counterattack situation. Very dangerous on the counter.
Thomas Markham now bringing the ball up for the Marauders across the midfield stripe, playing it off to Chris Bennett. Bennett with a nice move on the inside, loses control. Ball goes into touch. It's off of Tarpon. Throw-in coming up for Clearwater Central Catholic. And Eddie, this crowd really shows how soccer has grown in the United States.
Oh, this was a dream about 5 years ago when everybody was working so hard to get high school soccer in. And what a great night it is for soccer.
The ball comes back out towards the middle, a high one. Bennett coming back to field it along with Markham, simply heading it, trying to control it, puts his shoulder to it. Paul clears it down the field, happy to get it out, and a throw-in coming up. There's the ball thrown in a long one. Thomas Markham comes right back, gets his own ball, and no whistle by the referee. He says play in. Here's the cross in the middle. Kenny Jules trying to get to it. Howley trying to clear it away, simply boots it up the field. So Tarpon Springs starting to fall back into that defensive shell. The ball's played back to Bill Thwaite. There you see the man who is on top right now, Jed Lair. He's very pleased with the situation. And down at the far end of the screen, rather than the near end, Tom Nibio looking on with a lot of concern.
As far as Clearwater Catholic's concerned, they have to get one opportunity at goal. And I think they're the type of team that are capable of doing that if they keep their heads and relax and build it up. One opportunity, clean opportunity at goal, and they'll score. But they haven't been able to do that the entire game. And they've got 17 minutes to do so.
Thomas Markham now to Chris Bennett. Bennett taking his time. The Marauders have not lost in over 40 games. Quite a win streak they have going. It is third in the nation.
And this is the biggest game of the year for them. Undefeated team, and their backs to the wall. And it's got to be a tough situation with 16 minutes to go, but plenty of time.
Here's another golden opportunity, but it is cleared away quickly by Byron Triplett. Bennett now taking his time, trying to bend it around. The Marauders rising to their feet. Bennett still in control, and they're calling that ball out. And of course, you can see Bennett, he's furious about that. Not too pleased at all. And Thanopoulos quickly plays it back to his goaltender with time starting to wind down. 16 minutes to go. Substitution coming on. Samarkos coming on for Rick Martin. And Martin has had quite a game with the score 1-0. Mike Hanlon along with Eddie Austin bringing you the action from Clearwater Central Catholic High School. The semifinals. One of these teams will move on and be in the finals here tomorrow night at 7:30.
And you got to know, Mike, at this point in time, these kids are very, very tired. They've put in a lot of hard running. The legs are getting heavy.
15 minutes to go as Tarpon sends the ball up the field. Ball goes into touch. Paul preparing to put the ball in play. Of course, while we have this break here, I'd like to thank Eddie Austin for coming here tonight and helping me out with the color. Of course, Eddie, you were in a very, how should we say, similar situation in 1975 when the Rowdies won their first ever title and you played for them.
Yeah, that was a great year. The first year the Rowdies came to town, and I guess that was a soccer explosion for the Bay Area, and it was just a spirited group of players that went out there and represented Tampa Bay and put Tampa on the soccer map, so to speak, and by winning the championship by beating Portland 2-0.
And of course, Eddie, you're still here today working with the Tampa Bay Rowdies in the administration portion of their operations. And why don't you tell me what you're doing? I understand you just got promoted. Congratulations is in order.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to be working in all departments of the Rowdies and also in the marketing area. We have a 3-game indoor slate left at the Bayfront Center. We play Wednesday night, and we have 2 more games in March, some super games against Chicago and Tulsa, and then we head into the 1984 outdoor season. So some great things coming up with Rodney Marsh back as head coach and general manager.
So it's a long way from Glasgow.
It sure is.
The ball played all the way back. Tarpon Springs defense is there to answer, and you can see some of the players. Check that. Some of the players starting to get tired. There you go, some of the players, some of the crowd, and of course everyone enjoying this game right now. So it's a long way from Glasgow.
It sure is.
The ball played all the way back. Tarpon Springs defense is there to answer, and you can see some of the players. Check that. Some of the players starting to get tired. There you go, some of the players, some of the crowd, and of course everyone enjoying this game right now. Good opportunity for Triplett. Back in the middle now. Here's Hernandez now. Hernandez has got some room. He's moving down the left-hand side, and a great slide tackle left by Holly. And Tarpon Springs defense answers the call once again.
Fantastic defensive play. Fantastic.
The crowd is on their feet right now. They can really feel the emotion. Hernandez really electrified that crowd. And of course, Holly with an even greater play taking away. Here's Thomas Markham now. He's knocked down just outside. Oh, he struck at the top of the knee. Thanopoulos put a right hand and struck Thomas Markham. He is lying down on the field. The referee is coming over, and no call. You could see what happened there, and rather unsportsmanlike, if I might add. But Tom is down on the field. Tom Nibio does not want to come on the field because he'll have to move him out of the lineup. And time is called. Now he's signaled Tom Nibio must come onto the field. And a rather dirty play that time, Eddie.
Well, it's unfortunate the linesman didn't see that play because that is a very, very bad infraction. And I hope the youngster isn't injured. That's unnecessary in this game. The game's physical enough.
It certainly is, and Thomas coming off. Kenny Jewell coming over. And wear and tear is starting to play a part Clearwater Central Catholic's team right now. P.J. Donahue moving up, and this is the time that they'll have to rely on those seniors to pull through. Of course, Thomas Markham, he is one of those seniors as he comes off. Tarpon Springs defense becoming very physical here. P.J. Donahue with a long throw and looking for Ed Kelly is cleared out. Here's Gelly, he knocks it down, and now we're going to have a free kick. Dangerous play that time, Eddie.
Pivotal situation here for Clearwater. They have a set play with 12 minutes to go. They need to take their time, have someone with a strong shot or whatever they've been practicing all week, and it has to work perfectly.
It could all come down to this play right now. Of course, I'm sure they're thinking back to some of the earlier plays in this game when Chris Bennett missed an open goal. Jeff Jones let that ball go right through his legs in front of the goal. So I'm sure that they'd like to see if they could tie the score up right here because they feel that they have wasted many chances, I'm sure. Here's Kelly now. He runs over it. They play it forward for Kelly. Here's Callahan. Loose ball in front. And it's cleared away. It's a touch. That play has worked very well throughout the season. I know that they've come up with over 6 or 7 goals working that play. And Ed Kelly's such a big player, the biggest man on the field running onto that ball. Here's Donahue now with the long throw-in. He comes back for it. Jones is there. Here's the shot. Kelly is racing after it. Comes back outside. Donahue does a good job of knocking it down. Plays it back in the middle. And 2 Clearwater Central Catholic players go for it. They knock each other off the ball. Here's Kelly trying to break through. He's knocked down. Jones with the shot. And a great save. Corner kick coming up, Eddie.
Unbelievable tension going on in that penalty box. Every player except for one is back in there for Tarpon Springs defending, and that makes it real tough for anybody to score.
Clearwater Central Catholic really putting the pressure on now. The crowd coming to their feet. They know what they have to do here. Down by a goal in front of their whole crowd. It's the semifinals. Live, Eddie Austin and Mike Hanlon. Here's the cross inside. Kelly trying to get to it. It comes out. Here's Daly with the shot. Just wide. And every time someone takes a shot, Chris Daly, number 2 that time, the crowd just gives a big ooh because who knows what could happen, especially with all of those people standing inside the box.
And Tarpon continues with that aggressive type of play that has frustrated Clearwater all night. Again, I really have to believe that if Clearwater can get one single opportunity, they can put the ball in the back of the net, but it's very difficult when you've got so many players to contend with.
There's Chris Daly on your screen right there, the man who took that last shot. Of course, a good shot, Eddie, as that ball came out. It was a little bit crowded, but he saw the open hole. And a corner kick coming up, so things getting sloppy here, Eddie.
Bad mistake there. Bad mistake from a concentration level and hopefully not a morale level for Tarpon. Their coach has to be concerned.
Throw-in. Apologize for that mistake. Here's the ball inside. Jones getting a head on it, and they just simply let it go back to the goaltender. And I'm sure that they were thinking had that ball gone in, there definitely would have been a problem. Time starting to wind down now. P.J. Donahue checking back.
Still plenty of time left. This is a quality Clearwater club, and they're looking for that one opportunity. And Tarpon, they have to keep up this type of defense to keep them out.
Under 10 minutes to go. Here's Jim Kingston now. Jim on the march, trying to work the ball through. Has a shot, and it is wide.
That's a frustrating situation there. Everybody's trying to score goals when I think they have to, Clearwater from a psychological standpoint, they have to look at it as if it was the first 10 minutes of the game now. It's hard to say when you're down 1-0 in the biggest game of the year, but they have to calm down and play the ball around with poise.
Of course, there is a man who has felt a lot of the pressure, and he has weathered the storm very well. Tarpon Springs goaltender. And Eddie, if you had to pick a man of the match right now, he'd have to be it, I'd say.
Well, he's certainly in the top 2.
He certainly has it. Tarpon Springs taking their time now. They know they're up by 1 goal. Time is on their side. The ball comes out. Boswell now trying to push it forward for Gamble. It could be Gamble, and good play by Byron Triplett. He loses control. Byron regains it now. Tries to clear it away. Plays it ahead for himself. Gamble is over there quickly. Lets the ball go into touch. Asking everyone to move down. Ed Kelly going for the ball. Comes back outside. P.J. Donahue. Sean Callahan trying to fight for the ball. Patterson clearing it up the middle. Ed Kelly loses it. It comes all the way back to Bill Twait. And Twait sends it down the field with 8 minutes to go in the match. Callahan fighting for it. They're going back and forth now. Back towards the middle. Headed away that time by number 8. And of course, that is Earl Thomas. He is doing an excellent job here watching Mike Hernandez tonight. Kingsell working forward. And you can see this play starting to get a little bit rough. He's coming over. The referee might issue him a yellow card. And of course, Jeff Beer coming out here. He's going for the pocket. No doubt a card coming up here. And indeed, a yellow one, Eddie.
And you can't blame the referee. This game is getting a bit physical, and through frustration, people can receive some serious injuries unnecessarily.
Here you see Clearwater Central Catholic preparing now, thinking out what they plan to do. Ed Kelly, Mike Hernandez, Byron Triplett, the crowd from Tarpon Springs. The score on your screen, 1-0, Tarpon Springs leading. 8 minutes to go in this match. The clock has stopped. The yellow card has been issued. And here comes to Ed Kelly. Kelly with the shot high over the top of the net. Ed Kelly, number 18, taking that shot. And just a little bit too high, Eddie.
And it's a nice attempt, but it was just a wee bit too far out. Of course, to have that type of powerful shot. Gee, that had to be 35 yards.
Of course, now they need to concentrate, bear down, be sure to put those shots on net. Everyone will count at this point. Dean Thanopoulos trying to take the goal kick as Chris Daly comes off. Comes back off on the right-hand side. Byron Triplett still in control. Plays it back to P.J. Donahue. Donahue looking for Kelly. Kelly pushing forward. Now it's just P.J. Donahue all the way back there by himself. Playing it back to Billy Twait. And Gamble pushing P.J. Donahue from behind. The ball is quickly distributed. Here's Byron Triplett. He's got a lot of room to run, Eddie. Coming across the middle. Makes a move to the outside. Uses that speed. Takes a shot. Oh, just bending over the top of the net. Byron Triplett, number 11, doing a great job.
They've got to move that kid up. They've got to move him up. He can make things happen. He's got a shot. He's taken some of the most dangerous shots tonight from left fullback.
So Byron dropping back to his position. And Eddie, you have to wonder why he has not been asked to move up.
There may be a concern for Gamble, the center forward for Tarpon, being so tricky, but I think when you're down 1-0 and 6 minutes to go, you have to go for it. Yeah, you need a goal bad, and you need to use all your weapons, and Byron Triplett certainly is one of the most powerful weapons that the Marauders have tonight, and they got to move him up.
A sloppy goal kick, and it comes back. Here's a good opportunity, but Tarpon covers up quickly. The referee blowing his whistle. An injured player down on the field, number 4. Holly, he's been a busy man tonight, and a bit of a muscle pull. They're working on that right now. 1-0 to score. Tarpon Springs on top, and of course Holly has played a major part in Tarpon's defense tonight, holding off those Marauders.
All credit to the Tarpon defense. Everybody to a man has supported each other, played extremely well, a spirited defense, and they really have shut out the attacking powerhouse of the Marauders' front line.
Clearwater Central Catholic a little bit frustrated at this point. Actually, a lot frustrated. They've had a lot of chances. Some of the players coming away. And of course, some of the fans right here. And you know what team they're rooting for, don't you, Eddie?
Oh, you sure do.
Sister Owen, the principal here at Clearwater Central Catholic High School.
Great turnout tonight by the community.
Excellent. Of course, people were saying there would be 2,000 people here, 1,500. There has to be in excess of 3,000 people on hand tonight. All the stands are full. People are simply lining the edges of the field. A great crowd, and as I mentioned earlier, this really shows how soccer is growing. Here you see some of the crowd enjoying this game right below the scoreboard, down by the Tarpon goal. Long ball now booted out on the right-hand side. Hernandez heads it into touch, throwing coming up for Tarpon Springs. Thanopoulos now taking his time. Substitutions being made. Gamble is staying on. Paul is coming out, and Martin is going on for Tarpon Springs. The crowd's starting to get into it now. They know that there's 6 minutes to go.
I'm really surprised they're allowing the clock to run down when the referee is having a conference with the coach on the side.
Time. Substitutions being made. Gamble is staying on. Paul is coming out, and Martin is going on for Tarpon Springs. The crowd's starting to get into it now. They know that there's 6 minutes to go.
I'm really surprised they're allowing the clock to run down when the referee is having a conference with the coach on the side.
Ball played long. P.J. Donahue has it. Donahue elects it to play it back to Bill Twait. Long ball now put it out on the right-hand side. Hernandez heads it into touch, throwing coming up for Tarpon Springs. Thanopoulos now taking his time. Substitutions being made. Gamble is staying on. Paul is coming out, and Martin is going on for Tarpon Springs. Help us out here as we bring this game to you. And of course, we would like to thank all our sponsors. National Pools, another one of our sponsors here this evening, helping to provide money to bring you this telecast. And of course, you have been able to see a great game here this evening. Clearwater Central Catholic, the Parish School Association also have helped us out a lot. CCC, the crowd is yelling as P.J. Donahue plays it back in the middle. Mike Hernandez lets it go right by. Not sure who is going to pick that one up. Here's Henkel now. He's come on for Clearwater Central Catholic. The ball played down on the left-hand side. Trying to work it through. Jones is there, comes through. Here's Kingston now with the shot in the middle. And the crowd really getting into it. That ball went just inches wide.
And everybody was caught off guard by that shot. The goalkeeper didn't see it, the defenders couldn't cut it off, and it was a type of goal shot that would have gone in. Just off by 6 feet.
The referee has called timeout right now.
Chance after chance after chance.
And the referee coming
back there with the goalkeeper. It's okay.
I can tell you this, Mike.
Of course, we'll be bringing you that.
It's 7:30, so we can
Fill you in on some of the other things.
still be going on. Tarpon Springs. And we will be back right after this.